Last night I seen Death of a Nation, Dinesh D'Souza's movie about the Democratic history and racism. Very good movie. I liked it. I encourage people to go see it. One of the points is that Hitler got a lot of his racial ideas and policies. Hitler pre had a hatred of Jews, anyways. Came from his father trying to beat the Jew out of him when he was a kid. But a lot of the racial separations, the work camps were kind of based on the plantation. The main point of the movie, and one that I'm going to make probably in a clearer way. The Republican Party was born on a moral intolerance for slavery. The Democratic Party started the Civil War to keep black people slaves. Now they bully black people into staying on the Democratic plantation because the Republicans are racist. That the Republicans aren't racist. It is a form of bullying to on black people and Republicans to say that Republicans are racist towards blacks. Well, that kind of kills the conversation. They hate you because of your skin color. Well, if you're, let's take skin color out of it. Are you safer as a white Republican in a Republican district or as a black person in a Democratic district? The blacks are far more likely to be shot in the street living as a Democrat than if they would be if they were living around Republicans. Republican schools tend to be better for black people. You put a black child in in a Republican school district, he's probably going to read, write, graduate, and get into a college on his own abilities because he's been properly educated. You put that same person, white or black, into a democratic school system, likely to drop out, less likely to be functionally literate, less likely to be safe. Okay, so African Americans get a very, very raw deal with the Democrats, but the Democrats have them bullied. The Republicans are racist, bigots, and homophobes. So you're stuck with us. There's two parties, and if one party can bullshit you into believing that the other party is racist and hates you and bully you however they do it, well, guess what? They've got you, and the Republicans can't have the blacks because the the Democrats have bullied them into believing that they're racist. Let's take gay people. The Democrats have bullied gay people into believing that the the Republicans are homophobic, and all Republicans hate all gays, and you can never vote for them, be friends with them. It's the Democratic Party or nothing. That is abusive. That is bullying. That is the definition of bullying. If you have to keep your friends because you convince them that everybody else hates them, there's something wrong with you. Now back to Dinesh D'Souza's Death of a Nation. He ties the racial conflict that the Democratic Party has done for years to what's going on today. When Abraham Lincoln was elected president, they called him every name in the book. They started a civil war to keep black people as slaves. And then once they lost the Civil War, they shot Abraham Lincoln in the head. Sore loser, sore loser, sore loser. Let's take a look at what the Democrats do today. They insulted and belittled Donald Trump in the election. Took him for granted. He kicked their butt. You remember Hillary was going to win by 12. Hillary loses because she was one of the worst candidates to ever run in the modern age. Instead of saying, hey, we made a mistake, we've got to get better, we've got to do more for the American people, they bring up a phony Russian scandal that was bought and paid for by Hillary. They managed to turn the dude from The Apprentice, the American people hired the guy that was famous for You're Fired. So they got a legal investigation into doing exactly what the American people voted him to do, which was fire people. So the first person he fires, they get a federal investigation, a special counsel investigation into You're Fired. That's what we elected him to do. So the Democratic Party not only disrespects democracy, they disrespect one of the exact things the American people elected him to do. As that's the grounds for an investigation, which is incredibly foolish. But once again, just like during the Civil War, the Democrats are sore losers. They're willing to start to divide the country because they lost. Will they work within the system? Will they respect democracy? No, they lost. So now they're going to investigate the winner. They're going to make false allegations. They're going to rip the country apart. The American people need to decide, are you a sore loser? If you're a sore loser, then vote for the Democrats. If you're an adult that thinks that Trump earned it, won fair and square, and needs the opportunity to have 4 years to decide on, so you can judge him. So maybe you don't like Trump, maybe you do. Every president gets 4 years, and then you can fire him or not fire him. Donald Trump can be removed from office legally in 2020. The first Tuesday in November 2020, the American people get to decide. The Democrats don't want to let democracy work. They want to impeach him, investigate him, and smear him before the election, because if he could beat Hillary with no record, with no time in office, no accomplishments, and everything they threw at him, imagine how hard it's going to be to defeat him when he's got a record of economic growth, no wars. He hasn't done anything that they said he was going to do. They call him a Nazi. Well, there are no concentration camps. There are 4 years later, when there are no concentration camps, where there are no dead Jews, Jews are still American citizens. It's going to be hard to say, well, look at all the Nazi stuff he did, like not kill anybody and not round up all the Jews. And yeah, well, the sky's going to fall if you reelect him. Well, he's been president for 4 years. The sky hasn't fallen. The Democrats, particularly the Democratic media, have cried wolf on Donald Trump so many times, they're going to have a hard time getting anyone to buy it the second time around. So if they can't impeach him, it's going to be really hard to defeat him legally at the ballot box, because every scare tactic they used has failed. So they're just going to go back to racist, bigot, homophobe, racist, bigot, homophobe, racist, bigot, homophobe. Every time I hear a Democrat or someone in the media say that, all I see is a bully. A bully that doesn't actually care about black people, because if you did, you'd give them better schools and safer streets, and you'd compete for their vote honestly with the Republicans. But you're scared the Republicans will treat them better, so you have to bully them into not listening or even thinking about being the Republicans. You have to bully them into hating the Republicans. Why? Because you're abusing them. That's what an abusive person would do. The Democratic Party is abusive to black people and to gays. Now, in Dinesh D'Souza's movie, he shows how the Democrats rewrote history to make fascism a right-wing idea. It's not. It's a left-wing idea. But when bad things happen, you need to blame others. And that's exactly what the Democrats did. I'm Tim. You're watching Tim's TV, and